Hello guys, welcome back to Yogi Logic channel. This is your host Lauri. So today I want to ask you two simple questions. Do you feel sometimes that you're overwhelmed with life? Like, do you get this feeling like you're running around like a headless chicken and you just don't know what's gonna happen? Like, life is fucking crazy. Do you ever get that? Well, you know what? I've been there. But what has helped me resolve it is actually the power of meditation. That's the topic for today's video. So, I read a really powerful quote by Swami Bhaktivedanta. So he says that you should not be carried away by the dictation of the mind, but the mind should be carried by your dictation. So what does this mean? It means that, oftentimes in our daily world, we're so bombarded with stimuli, sensory stimuli from all sources, from TV, from advertisement, from your friends, from WhatsApp, from Snapchat, from the environment. And sometimes it can feel like, your mind is kind of like a ping pong ball that's being played around, like your attention goes like from here to here to here to here to here, and it's very hard to focus. And what can happen very quickly is that you can get into this sort of, reactive autopilot mode. You're just reacting to things before you even have time to think about them. And before you know it, you're engaging in habit patterns that you didn't even want to initiate. You just get habits that just come upon you. But now, with the power of meditation, you actually have, and I really do think that it is the best way for you to take control of your mind. And rather than letting your mind run you, you can actually use your mind to your advantage, and you can unlock new levels of awareness, and you can unlock new levels in your life, new potential that you weren't even aware of. So now let me get into the wonderful benefits, the power of meditation. So let me tell you a story. So the first time I tried meditation, it was in Oxford, I think about 2011. And when I tried it, man, it felt super difficult. We had a really advanced teacher, and he told us, okay, so guys, now we're gonna sit down, we're gonna sit still, just breathe, and meditate for 40 minutes. And obviously, that was way too much for me at a point, because like many other people who would try meditation today, what you feel is when you sit down, you close your eyes, and you focus on your breath, it can actually be much more difficult than you think, because we're not used to this state anymore. We're not used to silence, because actually, the way I see it, the way it seems to go, is that actually we spend our lives running away from stillness, running away from silence, because we have all of this stimulus thrown at us. We have just in your phone, you have like millions of apps that you could be clicking. You have your TV, you have your computer, you have your work, you have your magazines, you have just all this noise going on around your life. But then, how many times do we actually get the chance to sit down in silence and just focus on ourselves, and to, instead of directing our focus outwards like we're used to, we're not used to actually directing our focus inwards. And I think it's a great shame, because what happens is that the more we direct our attention outside of ourselves, the less aware we are of our inner world. We are not even so aware of what we're doing and why we're doing it. And it's so easy to actually ignore the signals from your body, the signals from your mind, the signals from your inner self, your soul, your higher self. It's so easy to ignore those once you're not used to listening to them. But so the point of meditation is to actually, close off all your senses, to close off the outer world, so that you can actually listen. You can listen what's going on inside of you. And what happens is that the more you start listening to your inner world, the more you start meditating, the more you're going to be able to start reading off the signals, the physical sensations of your body, and what your mind is telling you, what your higher self is telling you. And you're going to be surprised that actually you, as a person, you're much wiser than you think. And you actually have this really beautiful inner wisdom. And once you learn to listen to it, you can actually make decisions that are much wiser for you. Because no one else knows more about you than you, right? So let me tell you something. A universal truth about human behavior is that actually all humans work in patterns. We all have these locked up habit patterns that run our lives. So what happens is that all of us, I mean me included, we have triggers and reactions that can be predicted because we are so used to actually, in our brain, the habit patterns are like neural pathways. So we're used to firing and wiring the same neural pathways so many times that our behavior starts becoming subconscious. So we can actually be, good example, walking from work to home. We've done it so many times that we can actually be thinking about, next episode of House of Cards or, which camera I'm gonna buy. And we can be totally lost in our thoughts while our body actually knows what to do. So the cool thing is that, after 2 years of doing meditation daily, I've really actually come to know myself. I've come to know what are my thought patterns, what are my habit patterns. Because when you meditate and you go inward and you increase your level of awareness, you actually start to have the space between you receiving a sensory stimulus, you seeing something, and then you reacting to it. You have this space where you can actually think, and you think, actually, why am I doing this? So, for example, for myself, I noticed I work in the movie industry. So when I'm overworked, when I'm tired, when I'm on the set and I see the catering table, I see some delicious Oreos, I see coffee, and I'm like, and my body is like, I want this. I want that sugar and I want that caffeine because I think in my mind thinks that that's what's going to give me energy. And of course, it's going to give me that quick boost, but then I know that after 15 minutes, I'm going to be like, woo, higher the sugar, and then boom, I'm going to crash down. Then I'm going to go for some more Oreos, some more coffee. Before I know it, I've eaten the fucking bag of Oreos and down the coffee. And I know that probably is not the best for me. So that's just one example, but we all have these habit patterns. The really cool thing about meditation is that when you actually sit in silence and you close your eyes and you see this huge emptiness. So what happens is that you're actually the way I would describe it is that you're detaching yourself from, this person, this physical body, this Lauri that I think that I am. I'm actually detaching from that and I'm connecting to my higher nature, to that intangible soul or whatever you want to call it, Holy Spirit, whatever. I'm connecting to that and I'm actually taking a break from being myself. And that actually in itself is a really cool thing because now that I do that, it allows me to look at my life from a more detached perspective. And I can take some distance from my emotions. So say, when I'm really angry to somebody, when somebody has done me something really nasty, I don't know, and if I meditate, I can actually take a step back and I can think, okay, why did this happen? Like for example, take an example. I got my wallet stolen in Barcelona. I was walking back home from a club and this guy sort of, he didn't want to, he was like, yeah, one question. He was kind of, touching me and of course I didn't realize and, I came home, I was looking in my jacket and like, where's my wallet? I'm like, yeah, okay. And I realized now, yeah, this guy took it. And for that split second, I'm like, man, I want to beat this guy up. I'm so angry. Fuck this guy. But then I thought for a second, well, wait a minute. This guy, he's probably a drug addict. He was a skinny dude, kind of, with bags under his eyes and like, big pimples. I thought, okay, this guy's a drug addict. And probably, he doesn't want to work. He doesn't have work ethic. And, he doesn't have a source of income. And, he's thinking, hey, here's this rich tourist guy who probably has a ton of money in his wallet and it's like an empty street, there's no police there, so hey, I'm gonna go for his wallet because hey, I deserve it because hey, nobody is giving me anything and I need food to eat, I need drugs, so I'm gonna take the wallet. That's like, I can see that's his chain of reasoning. And then when I think about that, it allows me to look at this situation in a much more compassionate way. I can say that, okay, like I lost my wallet, I lost my cards, I was able to close my cards immediately and I had there €3. And when I actually think about it, why am I even angry? For €3 and a couple of cards, a couple of pieces of plastic? And so like, can you see how in this way, when you meditate, you can actually gain you can look at life from a sort of higher ground. You can see more, if you can see people's patterns and motivations, you can actually be more forgiving. Since with meditation I understand better my patterns, and I can actually, I can forgive myself, because now I see why I'm in the life situations that I'm in. I can see the sum of my choices, words and actions. I can see where it's led me to, and I can understand actually myself, why I was engaged in some, harmful thought patterns that weren't benefiting me. And if I can forgive myself, I can actually start to forgive others, which is actually, it's a really wonderful thing, because it allows me to let go. Because each time that I step into meditation, I close my eyes, I let go of the day. I let go of whatever happened to me. I just let it go. And I kind of liberate myself from it. So obviously as a result, I have a much greater peace of mind, because I'm not attached to the past, and I'm not thinking so much about the future, but I'm actually grounded in the present. And so basically, if you start this practice, if you start to meditate, you can actually have a sharper perception of reality. You can see the world more for what it is, and less colored by your emotions, less colored, by your specific prejudice, your specific social background, and your specific social conditioning. And you start to detach from all of that and actually, see things in a more objective way. You can take steps to detach from your own perspective, and you can actually, it's much easier when you meditate to put yourself in another person's shoes and to start seeing that, to start to understand why they're thinking and acting in the way that they're acting. It's been scientifically proven that actually meditation lowers cortisol levels. So cortisol is this, this stress hormone that releases this, chain of chemicals in your body that they make your body under stress, they weaken your immunity, and they actually make you more reactive, more able to snap at little things that happen in your world, and you're kind of more like a leaf in the wind instead of the tree in the wind, because the really cool thing that I noticed about meditation, obviously, is once, I do it every day and I increase my peace of mind, I can be in a pretty chaotic situation, but I can still maintain my calm. And it's really, before you've experienced, it's kind of hard to describe it before you experienced it. And the way I like to think about it is that it's like your brain and your mind is going on a break. Because obviously, when you start meditating, you're gonna have like this tornado of thoughts, like, oh, what should I do next? Yeah, I want to eat curry for dinner. Tomorrow I have to shoot 8 vlogs. You're gonna have all of these things going to your mind. But if you actually you sit and you focus on the breath, and it's kind of like, imagine you go on a highway and looking at a lot of cars going by. That's sort of like you inside your mind. So instead of trying to grab each car, grab onto each thought, grab onto each thing that's coming, you just let them pass. You just let the cars pass, and you kind of just watch the show. And the more you learn to do that, the more you learn to actually detach yourself from your thoughts. And you start to see your thoughts as sort of propositions to you that you can either reject or embrace. And in that way, when somebody, really gets to your nerves next time, you can actually think, hey, okay, I know this is happening, I got this thought coming into my mind, and you can actually have the choice of, do I choose to react to this, or do I choose to not react to this? And how do I choose to react to this? So let me give you one example from my life that also happened to me recently. So now I was going on a shoot, I was kind of late. I had to run to the metro, and in Finland we have this phone ticket. So, it was like early in the morning, 6 a.m., was kind of tired. And I stepped on the metro and I got the ticket, and the controllers came in. And what happened is that actually the ticket hadn't arrived on my phone before I stepped on the metro. So I got fined for it. I just paid €2.50 for the ticket, then I got this €80 fine on top of it. And then for a second I was like, oh fucking controllers, it's so annoying. But then I thought to myself, hey, you know what? Actually, I broke the rules. I'm responsible for this. And this controller, there's nothing personal. It's nothing personal against me, but it's just a guy doing his job. And then I had that split second of anger, but then I was like, okay, fine, I'm gonna pay. And I took the slip, I went on my bank account, boom, 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 just 80 euros, there you go. And I continued my day. Because, most people in that situation would have maybe started arguing with the guy like, hey, you can't do this to me, you're wrong because I just got the ticket. I could have got so angry, so worked up, and I could have even, thought about it for the rest of the day. But, thanks to my meditation practice, I was just able to, just feel that split second of anger, then let it go, pay it, and move on with my day. And as a result of that, I was actually much less stressed for the day. I didn't even think about it for the rest. And I mean, this is just one example, but if you start to do meditation and you're going to start to get these benefits of being less reactive, and you're going to find that over time, it's going to reduce your stress levels and it's going to make life a much more enjoyable experience. Where you can actually stop living in the past, stop thinking about the future, but actually to be grounded in the present. So guys, there are some of the benefits, some of the transformations that have happened to me thanks to the power of meditation. I'm going to be checking out from Barcelona. I hope you guys have an amazing day, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.